So the question is basically, how did this semester go in terms of being back on campus? I know being online was a little bit tough for some people. Some people loved it like me. I was able to go on vacation. But how has that been over the past 15 weeks?
At least in the engineering department, there's a lot of they were testing the waters because a lot of my classes started in person, and then the next the last half of the semester, I went online. So I mean, from my in-person experiences, I had it was good, but then obviously the last semester, I had a lot of Zoom fatigue. It's just not enjoyable.
I mean, it was cool to be back on campus, but mainly everything's online, so it's kind of it was definitely an adjustment period for sure.
Yeah, I'll say the same. It felt very much like a liminal kind of space because I transferred last year during the pandemic, and so my first year was online, and so this is my first year on campus. But because everything was still kind of halfway online and not really as open, and campus life wasn't as active as I imagine it regularly is, it still feels like I haven't fully been I guess integrated into the campus life. You know what I mean? Like I still haven't experienced Cal Poly Pomona to its full potential. So it kind of still feels like I'm waiting on that. But hopefully next semester it gets a lot better.
Kind of to add on to what he said, also I'm a first year transfer, so I just transferred here this semester. I feel like I didn't get the full experience, but I feel like I am lucky enough to have been on campus because he was off when he started, it was all online. But I did struggle because my classes were hybrid, and because of that I did have issues learning where they would go really fast online and in person it would be really slow. So it would just be hard to focus on what's going on in the class. But overall I did enjoy this semester because I met a lot of people despite it being completely online. Yeah.
All the food places closed at 1:30 or something.
Oh my God, yeah, that does.
So, but that's the only thing.
Intermittent fasting.
It's really, yeah.
I like that we paid half price for the parking passes too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That was smart of them to do, I think. They should have done that pre-COVID.
Mhm.
I still hope they do that. Only thing I didn't like, they kept the prices up for tuition.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This fall, they upped the price, which was
How much did they have to buy? It was only
like $300, $200, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, they upped it?
They upped it. They did. It was from 3,500 to 37.
I mean, it's my first semester on campus. I did my first semester online, so I'm enjoying being in person again. But I mean, it's been kind of difficult. I mean, I know we're getting to finals week, so it's now it's starting to feel a little bit more difficult. I'll speak for myself. I am not prepared for this exam that we have to take in 30 minutes. So I don't know. It's been interesting seeing what in-person classes have been like, but I don't know. I live on campus, so it's been fun too.
Well, it's my last semester. It's been stressful. I forgot how hard it was to be back in person. So that's definitely changing everything.
Well, being back on campus, I know that it's helped me stay a little bit more motivated than it was being back home. I had to move out here to go to come to campus on in-person classes because my hometown is in SD. So yeah, it's I get to see my friends more and I get to study with them, especially here at the Masa House. So it's fun being back. And I feel like the classes that are in person are a little bit more engaging rather than the online classes we had in the past.
Yeah, pretty much from the online schooling on Zoom is definitely very different from in person. So, before COVID happened, I was definitely learning a lot, especially as an engineering major. But when online happened, I felt like the learning aspect just went all away. It's very hard for professors to adapt to an online learning system. And also, they, I guess, didn't know how to fix their syllabus and, how to grade and all this stuff. And so it was more on the fly. But coming back in person, there was a lot of hybrid courses I did 2 hybrid courses and 2 online courses. Definitely, I felt like it was hard to adapt to getting back to my hybrid courses. It took some time. One of them, actually I'm most likely have to retake because, it was just hard to adapt to it. But definitely, I enjoyed it because I got to talk to the professor, learn more, and know where my mistakes and how to improve as well. While online, I felt like my professors, it's just hard for them to adapt and also be like there to help me out in person for a student with a learning disability. So yeah, I think it's been difficult transition going back and forth, but I'm glad I'm here with friends like Priscilla here, and get to see friends too who support me with my mental health. So I think that's a big thing.
I'm a freshman, so it was an experience, I would say, and it was stressful. Biochem just eats you up sometimes, but I think this year kind of just made me just find a balance between time and like hanging out with friends and just in general. But I liked it. It's nice, and I live on campus too. So yeah.
For me, I think it's like a good transition. For this semester, it's going to be partial, like hybrid, but for next semester, it's more than 50%, 75% going to be with the in-person component. So definitely, I think it's going to be much better for next semester. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, same with Dara and same with Jennifer. I just transferred here for this semester, and even though I have some hybrid classes and most of them are also online, but with the semester, even though like I had some hybrid classes, it's like a preview a little bit on how to see campus life. Yeah, so it's kind of nice for now, and I can't wait for next semester.
I am not a transfer student. I'm a first year actually. So coming from online high school, where I didn't really get a senior year, it's nice being back on a campus, but it's kind of weird because there's like barely anyone here, walking from, walking around. It's, you kind of just going from the dorm to the class, and you only pass by like 5 people. I don't know, curious for next semester.
Personally, for me, I enjoy being back just because I'm able to like see a lot of my professors that I like met through Zoom, and I'm able to see them in person. And I just prefer classroom environment over Zoom.
I really had a hard time trying to adapt to online learning, and being back, it was the same thing with I guess the engineering or all departments were originally planning to have more in-person classes, but as it got worse, I guess right when we were coming back, they switched to online. But it was still fun. I had a few lab classes in person, and that was cool. One thing that pissed me off was the physics department. So they do the labs like through videos on YouTube, right? And they recorded them right when the pandemic started. And you can see it, well now you can't see it because YouTube removed the dislike thing. But you could see like the ratio. It was like 2 likes and like 170 dislikes. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And like the labs didn't make sense, and the data was incorrect, and it just didn't make sense to me on how, especially our school, how it's learn by doing. Like, how are you gonna give these resources out that aren't correct, where we can't learn correctly? It's a travesty. So I'm definitely looking forward to next semester. It's not worth, why am I paying money for that?
Oh yeah, I noticed that even going online, you're forced to buy a lot of the instant access material, so I'm spending a lot more money on books. And because each instant access book is
like $60
it's like $80
or more.
Yeah. It's expensive, whereas in person you don't have to actually buy the book because your professor's there to help you and teach you all the time. So
I think I'm pretty fortunate, and maybe it's probably a different major as well, but a lot of my professors made it easier for me to actually transition from in-person to Zoom, and they also made the material more easier to learn, in my opinion. So I never had a negative experience.
If you had a choice, and these are your only 2 choices, would you rather have classes hybrid or would you rather have classes fully online?
Yeah, I was originally an animal science major and now I'm an agriculture major, so a lot of my classes were supposed to be very hands-on, and because they were online, they were not. And I know for all my bio lab classes, doing it online, you can't do any of the lab stuff. You're just kind of doing similar stuff to what you do in the lecture. So that was really difficult. So I took a gap semester, and now being in person, I find that I'm actually interested in the content again, and I'm actually learning stuff. So that's been really nice.
For sure, the GEs are more manageable online.
Yeah. I would like it if labs were in person. Um, the only lab that or actually I'm taking 2 labs this semester. They're both online. I just don't really think that you get what a lab is supposed to be if it's online.
The quote unquote
You
hands-on learning.
don't actually do any of the experiments or anything.
Oh, really?
I think hybrid because I'm gonna be honest, online, yeah, it's cool and all. Like, I know, like you could probably just go online, watch the lecture later, because they record it for you, or yeah, they'll support you and just upload the videos where they don't teach at all. But I think that's where it really takes away from the aspect of hands-on learning, and also being a person working with professors, especially when you have labs. Definitely, that's really something hard for me to adapt to online because I have physics labs and I had to be in person to understand the material. While they just gave it all to us and uploaded it. And this semester too, I took an online class and they uploaded lecture material, but it wasn't really helpful because there was no professor there to help you out. In a hybrid course, they can at least help you out and try to adapt to your situation too. But yeah, that's my take on that question.
Yeah, I agree. I would prefer hybrid courses just because if they're fully online, you can't you don't have the option to come and talk to your professor in person or get that interactive experience. And I feel like it's just a little bit more beneficial to at least have that option to be in person every once in a while. And it also keeps you more I guess, on top of yourself because you're like, oh, well, my exams are going to be in person. I have to make sure I'm ready. I have to eventually go to campus, so you actually feel like you're here, a college student, not just behind a screen. So, yeah, I would prefer hybrid if those were the only 2 choices.
At least for me, I feel like GE should be online.
Yeah.
The lower division core classes should be in person, and then upper division core classes should be hybrid, and then lab should be straight in person.
Yeah.
I like that setup. Yeah. I've talked to a lot of freshmen and sophomore underclassmen, but they haven't been on campus yet, at all.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's so crazy. Next question is gonna be, how do you think the university did in terms of helping us with the transition, in terms of COVID protocol, in terms of Zoom, in terms of resources? How do you think that the university did on that part?
I think it was pretty good just because I thought it was nice how they had on-campus testing just for emergencies and stuff. And not even just for emergencies, if you wanted to go get tested, you could. And it was just easily accessible to do that, which I thought was nice. And enforcing the mask everywhere was nice too, because I'm from San Diego, so literally no one wears their mask there. So when I moved up here, everyone was wearing a mask, so I kind of thought it was kind of not shocking, but just thrown off a little bit, just how enforced the mask mandate here is.
Yeah, I definitely felt during COVID I lived with an elderly family member and my dad's at risk, so I felt I had a lot of anxieties around COVID and everything, but I felt really safe coming back to Cal Poly. I think they deal with it really well and making sure they have everyone's vaccination records and everything, and the push that they had to get people vaccinated here, so that was really easily accessible to everyone. I really appreciated, so I felt totally safe being on campus.
I mean, in terms of COVID protocols, I think they did a good job, especially because they have those supplies in each building, where there's masks, gloves, hand sanitizer. So in that term, in terms of that, I think they did a good job.
Yeah, I feel like they've done their best in the situation of COVID. Again, they offer the resources for COVID testing, which is a big thing for a lot of students because when during the pandemic we had to go get tests to figure out okay, do we have COVID or not, and it was hard to get tests and get appointments. While here at CBP we're able to get those resources more efficiently, including the vaccine. And also too, I feel like they've done their best to make sure that everyone was in the best maintained health and make sure everyone got vaccinated, or those who were not vaccinated, they supported them too. And I think food wise and all that other stuff, they did their best to adapt to that situation. I just wish they could help out students with more of hey, how do I adapt to, I know we have water stations here on campus, and a lot of students, we have to go places and get water and stuff, and there's not, I feel like, a lot of water filters or water stations where they can fill up their waters. And students are here for so long, and last thing we want is to go to a water fountain where we don't know, someone who may have like touched it or not with COVID, or may have picked up COVID and used it. So I feel like that's something they probably could work on a little bit more. Just give that option to see if like there's more water stations to help out students who are dehydrated, because a lot of us are here, like we're here almost till like 8 in the morning to midnight sometimes, studying or doing homework. And I think, I mean, they've done their best to do what they can in this situation. So again, I can't think of they thought of everything, but there's still a lot of things too that they probably missed and stuff. But they did their best, and I'm glad that the administration's doing their best always, for students when it comes to COVID-related health. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did as well as they could with COVID protocols, considering that we're attempting to make. We're attempting to bring people back onto campus while still dealing with the pandemic. So I think that's a different challenge in itself than just totally shifting everything online. And so, in regards to that, I think they did a pretty good job, because they still were able to factor in the pandemic while trying to integrate everybody back into more in-person classes and events and things like that. So I think they did as well as they could.
Cal Poly definitely did their best. I mean, what had happened was definitely very unprecedented. I mean, the fact that we're on campus right now is a blessing. So, to be able to do what they did, like, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, like we didn't have to be on campus, I guess. Obviously that's the goal, that's the end goal ultimately, but I don't think, if they wanted to continue doing it the way that they did last year, they very easily could have, but they still tried to really integrate everything back into in-person while still dealing with the effects of an ongoing pandemic that's still going on right now. So yeah, I think they did as well as they did.
And also in terms of resources, I think they did a good job in doing like the resource fairs, and they also did them in person and online, so people that weren't coming on campus could have access to that and know what resources they offer. So I really did like that, because they have like CalFresh, which I applied for, and I was really helpful. I wouldn't have known about it if I didn't go to like the resource fair. So they're very helpful with helping anything in regards to mental health or food or housing insecurity, anything like that. They're really good at doing that. So.
I feel like the university gave a lot of resources to manage COVID, but I feel like a lot of students actually didn't utilize it. Like when you go to the library, I don't see people wipe down the tables, even though they have disinfecting wipes at every station, or they do have masks and stuff. So I think they're doing the best they can, and the school's offering a lot of resources to manage COVID. It's just up to us students to actually like stop the spread ourselves and follow those protocols. I don't think it's the university's fault at all if like COVID, there's an outbreak here personally, because they're doing the best that they can. That's my personal opinion though, but yeah, because it shouldn't be up to the university to like, obviously they should have tactics to manage COVID and everything, but it's up to us to stop the spread. Right?
Yeah, that's true. The enforcement of masks in the classroom for the one class that I did have in person this whole semester was non-existent, because some people would come in with their mask like this or with no mask at all, and it's like, what's the point? And so that's a problem, is the professors aren't enforcing masks, or I guess some, there's always like a minority, whatever. Some professors aren't enforcing mask policies. Second thing is, for students that aren't vaccinated, the ones that have to get a test every week, what's the point of getting a test before class and getting the results after class once you've already gone? Like I was on Reddit. I don't know if you're on the Reddit. I don't know if you're all on Reddit. On the subreddit for our school, there was a post about that, and one of the commenters said that they take a test because they're not vaccinated. They choose not to get vaccinated, but it's like, what's the point of if they're still going to class, but they don't get the results till like 8 p.m. And it's true. So I think if the university switched to an antibody test where it was like results in 15 minutes or something, then it would be making more sense to do testing, and that also would benefit everyone else. I got the vaccine. I'm getting my booster soon. I'm a biologist, so. But for whatever reason, if the students aren't getting their vaccine, I think it's important to have rapid tests. But then there's a downside of accuracy. Anyways, it's a whole. They're doing their best. I think they're doing the best, but I think that's a problem that should be addressed.
I was kind of shocked at like the amount of unvaccinated people that are like living on campus, coming to campus. But I don't know. I guess that was to be expected because not everyone is vaccinated. But yeah, I think Cal Poly has done a pretty good job.
What do you want to happen next semester? What type of activities are you looking for? What type of experience do you want?
I know, like, personally, I'm in a couple other clubs, and like their meetings are all like virtual, so they're still like looking into like having meetings like in the BSC again and stuff like that, how they used to be. So if that's like possible and all, and like we are able to like follow like all like the protocols, like that'd be pretty cool to like be able to meet up with like clubs again in person. Besides that, like, I don't know, I know like we used to have other traditions like the concert and stuff, but that's like crazy.
Bronco
it's like
Fest.
Yeah, the Bronco Fest,
Yeah.
like that's like way too many people and all, so I don't know how like that would work, but I know like we used to have stuff like that, or like the hot dog caper and all. I know not everyone like looked forward to it and all, but it's like so many people either way. Yeah, I guess like eventually like maybe we could get back to that, but probably not next semester.
All my classes are online right now, but all my classes are in person next semester. They should just at least like slowly trickle it in, And I gave that as a suggestion. I was like, that would be better, it would help out a lot of people, because the swift transition is gonna hurt people next semester for sure. What if you live in a different country? What if you live in a different state?
Especially this semester, like, our classes are online, but we have in-person tests. What if you live in New York? What if you live in Colombia? What if you live in South America? I don't know. Can you be coming just for a test? Like,
Wait, so you had online? This has been online and they did a test in person?
Yeah.
Bro, I think it's mad annoying though that professors were changing their mind. Like, oh, I think we'll be in person. No, I think we'll be online. Because I was only supposed to come 2 times a week. So I was like, I'm not gonna live on campus. I'll just drive, but I'm here every day. Because professor's like, no, why don't you try mine? I want to be in person. I'm like, how? Why do you do that? Like, you're either in person or online. You can't change your mind halfway through the semester.
Say everything goes well and we go back fully in person. I do hope that professors, who, adapt to the online course, and now we're going back in person, we get back into the, hands-on learning, the polytechnic aspect of Cal Poly Pomona. I think that's really important especially for all our STEM majors here. We really want to get back in the classrooms and learn and do our projects, work in the shop, do all these things. And I think it's important that we help our students out when it comes to hands-on learning, because that's the biggest thing that a lot of students came here and were known for. And I hope professors and the administration and faculty can help us out with that and really provide us with those resources, and and continue to engage and encourage that as well. Engagement is the biggest thing I feel like that a lot of students need right now, because since going online we lost engagement. Sometimes it's hard to still continue that drive, just due to all the obstacles that COVID has caused. And I think the second thing too is I hope that the administration in the aspect of clubs, or like maybe other like student government resources can help out clubs and cultural organizations come back fully, to help them financially in some way, give them some resources, advice, because I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of clubs are going to face when coming back. They're not going to be able to do food sales. They're going to need advice how to fundraise then. They do want to do these banquets back in person. They do want to do all these fun activities. So hopefully there could be some resources and some support to give them that support, and help them grow, because we're coming back from a hard year of no members, hard retention numbers. So they're going to need that support. And hopefully the Cal Poly Pomona the student club organization, the administration that handles student club organizations can help them out with that. So that's my biggest thing, those 2 things right there. But yeah, those I guess my answers for that question.
Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. If you like it, then please subscribe to 91 BTV for more content like this and others.